Okay, you're welcome again to our online presentation. This is internal rate of return. Okay, you can contact me on that number that is appearing on your screen for any queries. But today is internal rate of return. What is internal rate of return? We start with the definition. We said internal rate of return is a rate which, when applied to all the cash flows of a project, the NPV will be equal to zero. Okay, you need to internalize this definition. We're saying it's a rate when we apply it to our cash flows, then we get an NPV value which is equal to zero. Okay, but how do you compute it? I think that's very critical. You need to understand this formula. Okay, let me get a pen here to assist you on this one. Okay, let me, maybe an arrow will also help to just point where it's necessary. Okay, let me show you this. Okay, so we are saying what you need to do, we are starting with the PR. Okay, we are supposed to internal rate of return, we say the rate PR, which is the positive rate, right? You take the rate that is giving you positive NPV, you then add the difference between the two rates. The DRI is the difference between the two rates. Let's say we've got 15% and 20%. So you are going to say 20 minus 15, that's the difference that you put in here on DR. All right, then you multiply by PV. Our PV here, PV is represented by the positive NPV. You take the positive dollar sign, that is the positive NPV in dollars. All right, then you divide. Then the division should be from this one. Maybe a pen might be useful. Let me try a pen. Okay, so we're saying the division sign, you need to be very careful of the division sign. The division sign is actually from this point. Let me show you, the pen is misbehaving here. Okay, this one, let me take it this side. Okay, so we're saying the division sign, you need to be very careful. This is the other component that is added to the positive rate. Okay, so we're saying we are going to take the difference between the two rates. Let's say 20 minus 15, then you get 5. Then you put what? 5% on this one. Okay, that's the difference between the two rates. Then you take the positive value, the positive NPV in dollars. Then what you are going to do, you divide this component by the positive NPV. Then you deduct the what? The negative NPV. But you need to be very careful on your maths. In this case, let's say the positive NPV is 20, then you subtract the negative NPV. Let's say the negative NPV again in this case. Let's say in this case the negative NPV is minus 40. You see, now you need to do your maths, the grade 1, grade 2 maths. You need to employ it here. So we are going to say minus and minus will get a plus. Then you will get 20 plus what? Plus 40, and I think you can get the result of what? Of 60 in this case. So you need to be very careful on this part. Okay, but I will show this, I will demonstrate this one on our next example. But let me just emphasize on this one. Let me emphasize on this one. We say the positive rate, the rate that is giving us a positive NPV plus the difference between the two rates. Then you multiply by the positive NPV, then you divide this component by the positive value minus the negative value, and you need to be very careful of the negative sign. Okay, I think it's clear. Let me erase this one so that we can move to a cleaner slide in our next example where we need you to have your calculator. Okay, you have your calculator, please. I'll give you a second to get your calculator. Then we move on to the next slide. Here we are, right? Let's say we have computed all the NPVs. In this case, we have computed the NPVs, and this is at a discount rate of 10%. We had a positive NPV of 1,200. At a discount rate of 25%, we had a negative, be careful, we had a negative NPV of $200, right? Then the question is, say, calculate or compute the internal rate of return. Apply the formula. We're saying we start with this one. This is the rate that is giving us a positive NPV is 10%. So we just write 10 In this case, we are done. Then we move on to DR, which is the difference between the two rates. Is say 25 minus 10. This is what? 25 minus 10. This is the difference between the two rates. You multiply this with the positive NPV. This is in dollars, right? I think you can actually see this is in dollars. It's 1,200. You divide by the positive NPV 1,200 minus the negative NPV, which is minus 200. This will give you a plus. So in the simpler terms, you are going to add this, okay? Try to compute it on your calculator. I'm waiting for you. I got 22.86. Please confirm whether this one is correct. Then we can proceed to an example or an activity that I can give you to try and compute the internal rate of return, okay? Thank you. I think somebody has confirmed this is correct, okay? Let's move on to the last slide, which I think can be very helpful. Okay, let me check on this one, the last slide. Okay, I'm waiting for somebody to finish off. Let me clear the screen. Okay, confirm please. Okay, all right, I think enough of this one. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, we have got, in this example, we have got task number 1, we have got positive, all the values are giving us positive NPVs. Then they say calculate what? You're expected to calculate the internal rate of return. Can you do this? I'll give you 5 minutes. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. Okay, try this one. I think the questions, are they the same in this one? This one is plus, and what about the other one? Okay, all right, let me just change the two so that you can actually, okay, the first one, please work with a negative, okay, so that it can be different in this case. Okay, make this one a negative. Okay, work with a negative. Okay, let it be minus. Let it be minus 100. And the other one, right, task 1, so this is negative, please. Okay, take note, this is minus $100. Okay, I want to see your answer. Apply this one. Okay, I think you're done with this one. Tell me your answer. I want to erase this one. Okay, and what about this? Okay, let's move on to another task. Let me clear the screen again. Task 2. Okay, can you try this one again? All right, I think we are done. Thank you so much. We'll meet in our next lesson. We are moving to another topic, which is budgeting, and I hope you'll be ready. Bye-bye for now. Remember to subscribe to our channel. This is the end of our lesson. Thank you. Bye-bye. We meet in our next lesson.